So first I would like you to go on Google Classroom to the post from yesterday, check your answers for the homework. If you have any questions, please ask. Then turn to page 3 in your packet. So there's a little vocab reference of types of numbers that we looked at earlier in the year. So you have your rational numbers, which can be expressed as ratios or fractions, numbers that end or repeat. So anything that's fraction, whole number, negative whole number, a repeating decimal like 0.3 repeating, that would be 1/3. These include your integers, which are all the numbers on the number line. So the negative and positive whole numbers. The whole numbers, which start from 0 and continue up, only positives. And the natural numbers, how you naturally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Irrational numbers would be anything that cannot be expressed as a fraction, ratio, or decimal. They're numbers that do not end and do not repeat. They're usually just pi and square roots of non-perfect squares. Okay, so for example C, again, there's not really too much work to do, it's just reading. So a venue sells tickets to a concert for $20 each on Friday nights. The capacity of the venue is 400 people. The function P of n equals 20n represents the amount of money the venue earns in ticket sales on Friday nights, which is the most appropriate domain. So remember, domain is input. Input is inside. Inside value is n, and it tells you that n stands for, let's see. So the tickets are $20 each, so n is the number of tickets. So you kind of have to read between the lines for this one. So it's basically asking you which one can be the number of tickets. It can be all whole numbers, so they could sell 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So far, don't rule it out. All non-negative rational numbers. That it cannot be because it cannot be decimals or fractions. So this one is no. Now we're down to all non-negative integers that are multiples of 20, or in all non-negative integers that are less than or equal to 400. So again, we're looking at the number of tickets. They don't have to sell 20, 40, 60 tickets. They can sell 23 or 8 or 110, right? It doesn't have to be a multiple of 20. However, it does have to be less than 400 because the capacity is 400 people. So this one is your answer. So why don't you take a second, read the next one, try it, and then pause the video and then check your answer. And I'll put in the answer as well. So B represents here the number of bird baths, and he cannot sell more than 50. So it has to be this one. Can't be this one because no negatives. It can't be this one because it doesn't have to be a multiple of 23. And it can't be this one because it can't be fractions. Next problem is similar idea, except that they give us this crazy equation here. Really, you don't need to know anything about the equation or the numbers within the equation. All you need to know is that Q is the input and Q represents the number of speakers. So basically they're asking you which of these could be the number of speakers. So can it be all integers? No, because you can't sell negative speakers. Can it be all rational numbers? No, because you can't sell fractions. Can it be all integers greater than or equal to 0? Possible. Let's just check the other one, see which is better. All rational numbers greater than or equal to 0. This would be no, because you cannot have fractions. So this one here is the answer. 10 and 11 are extra credit. Again, if you try them, let me know and we can talk about them. Maybe earn some bonus points. And then let's do example D. So the weight of 2 puppies are 23 and 35.5 respectively. The weight of a third puppy is W. So basically we don't know the weight of the third puppy. The average weight of the puppies can be expressed as a function of W in the form A of W equals B plus W over C. So basically we're adding the weights and dividing by the number of puppies. So what are the values of B and C? So To find B, we know we're just adding the two puppies that we already have. So 23 plus 35.5, that would be 58.5, because those are the puppies that we already have. And C is when you're finding the average, you're dividing by how many there are. So if there's a third puppy, we're dividing by 3. So because there are 3 puppies. You do not have to actually solve anything. All you're asked to do is fill in the variables. And then the most appropriate domain, again, W here stands for weight. So you're trying to figure out what could the weight be. So can it be all real numbers? No, because weight cannot be negative. Can it be all positive real numbers? Possibly. Can it be all integers? Well, weight, it can be decimals, so it doesn't have to be an integer. So this one's out, it's not integers, and this one for the same reason it's out, because it can be decimals. So it has to be positive, it can be a decimal, or a whole number, so this would be your most appropriate domain. So I'd like you to take a minute and try number 12, and then pause the video, and then go and check your answers. Again, if you have questions, just pause and raise your hand, and I'll come help you. So R here is just adding the original test scores, so 88, 89, and 83. That would give you 240 and 20, that's 260. And M in the bottom is just the number of tests. So there's 3 tests already. You would have one more test, so it's 4, because there are 4 tests. That's all you have to do there. The most appropriate domain, so S is the score. And remember, you're not allowed partial credit, so no decimals. And also no extra credit, so I can't go over 100. So it has to be not all real numbers, because no negatives. Not all integers, again, because integers include negatives. So now it's either all positive real numbers or all positive integers less than or equal to 100. No extra credit and no decimals, so it has to be this one. And then the last one's just asking you if you have these 2 cylinders here. The radius of the inner cylinder must be, so this one must be greater than or equal to 3. What is the domain of the space between the inside and the outside? So basically this space here, it can either be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 millimeters. It can't be 10, because then you would be cutting out the whole thing. So that option is right here. This one's a little more like challenging, kind of what you would see on the park, just the way that it's worded, but just kind of use your common sense for that. Okay, I think it's almost everything. Okay, let's also do 16 and 17. So we're classifying these as having domain A or domain B. Domain A is all real numbers, meaning negative and positive. Domain B is only positive. Sorry, there's a class in the hallway. They're a little bit loud. Sorry, I'm making a video for my class. You guys get it? I'm making a video for my class because the projector's not working. Sorry. I'm literally recording a video for my class. Okay, sorry, there was a little noise in the hallway. So anyway, back to 16. Okay, so domain A is all real numbers. That could be positives, negatives, decimals. Domain B is only positives. X is greater than or equal to 0. So if you're looking here, you can plug in any number and square it. So this would be domain A. Again, you can plug in any number and multiply it by 3. That would also be domain A. You cannot plug in negatives underneath the square root sign, so this would have to be domain B. You can put any number in an exponent, so that's all real numbers. Population of bunnies has to be positive. You can't have negative bunnies. The graph of the line y equals 9. So remember, that would be like a horizontal line at 9. So the domain is left and right, all real numbers. Again, you can plug all real numbers into an absolute value. So domain A. And amount of money made has to be positive. So that would be domain B. And then we also have the velocity of an object falling from h feet above the ground given by square root of 64h. So we know that h has to be greater than or equal to 0, and f of h also has to be positive. So let's see. Domain is all real numbers? No, we just said it has to be more greater than or equal to 0. As the domain increases, the range increases. That makes sense. So if you think about it, the higher that you are throwing the ball from, the faster the velocity will be. So this one is true. Yep, mark the wrong box. This one is true. As the domain increases, the range decreases. That can't be true if the other one was. The domain and range will both never be negative. Definitely, you can't have a negative height or a negative velocity. The range is all positive numbers. That's true. The value in the domain is h equals 64. Sure, you could plug in 64 for h. Domain is all values greater than or equal to 0. That's true. And a value in the domain is h is negative 1. Well, we just said it has to be greater than or equal to 0, so it cannot be negative 1. Alright, number 7. So now we're looking at the graphs and just seeing what the domain and range is. So basically, actually I remember now that these graphs, they're a little bit hard to see where they actually approach because the lines are not actually there. So when we do one on the quiz like this, it's actually going to be an extra credit one. Later in the year, I'll give you some better graphs and we'll do these a little bit better. But these are a little bit hard to see when there's no lines. So you can flip now back to the homework pages and you're going to finish anything that you did not finish from pages 10 through 13. So all of page 11, there might be one you can skip with those graphs. All of page 12, but you should have 8 and 9 done already from yesterday. And on page 13, you're actually not going to finish. Well, actually, you could skip number 12. You could skip these graph ones because they'll be extra credit. And then number 11, just pick one of these. Which one connects not be negative 10? So basically it's saying which one can you not plug in negative 10 for. So there's only one of these that will come out to be undefined when you plug in negative 10. And we'll go over them tomorrow. We will have like another mini quiz soon, like just a front and a back, probably next week before Thanksgiving, I'm thinking, but we'll see how time goes. And also please don't forget about your IXL assignment, which was posted on Google Classroom and PowerSchool on November 20th. So again, if you have questions, please just ask, and thank you and have a great day.